I'm Cheyenne, the Executive Director of the South Enotah Child Advocacy Center, and as you remember, April is Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, and so we're doing different Talk About It Tuesdays, so you guys can be aware of the different facets related to child abuse. And today we have with us Melissa Line. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's the Program Manager for Enotah CASA, and Enotah CASA serves 4 counties: Lumpkin, White, Townsend, Union. Melissa holds a bachelor's degree in family therapy, and she's working on her master's degree in social work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When are you going to finish up?
Sometime this year.
Awesome. That is a feat. She served as an education director and curriculum writer for 14 years, and then also worked at Rainbow Children's Home here in Lumpkin County before joining the staff of Enotah CASA in 2015. She said her proudest accomplishments include being a former foster parent, mentor, and now adoptive parent of children in foster care. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between Enotah CASA and the South Enotah CAC. We do work together, but there are a lot of differences, and so we're going to give Melissa a chance to talk about it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how you can get involved.
Okay, well, Enotah CASA is part of a national organization. Court-appointed special advocates are in basically every state, and most of the counties in Georgia, I think there's 3 counties in Georgia where there's not a CASA program, and CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates, which is a body of volunteers basically who are trained and screened and supervised as they are assigned to individual foster care cases. The idea being that one advocate would serve a case from the time that sibling group or that child enters foster care all the way until they have achieved permanency. And most of the time permanency does mean reunification with the original family, and then other pathways to permanency include adoption or permanent guardianship with a fit and willing relative. Sometimes these cases can last a very long time, but the typical time is 18 months to 2 years. So we bring in volunteers and we appoint them to this task, and then they stay with this child, ideally throughout the entire case. One of the reasons for a program like this is because throughout the lifetime of a dependency case in juvenile court, a child might have several different foster placements, several different caseworkers, several different therapists or counselors, but they would have ideally one CASA volunteer who'd be a familiar face to them, that would be somebody that comes and visits them wherever they live and makes recommendations to the court as they progress toward permanency. So a CASA would attend court with a foster child or a sibling group every time they have a hearing and make a written report to the judge about their overall well-being and what would be best for them at each stage of the process.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's a great program.
Yeah, the consistency for a child is super important. And so for us, we get involved, and correct me if I say anything wrong.
Sure.
We get involved more at the beginning of the process. Some of our kids do go into foster care, but some of them don't. And it's interesting when they do, because the CASA and our family advocate, they work together, and so we say the more support for the child, the better. And so this way they have a CASA that's involved with them, and they have an advocate that's involved with them, which is just better for the needs of the child. And we get to hear both people speaking on behalf of the child, because they don't always get a voice sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing about CASA.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, if you guys have any questions more about CASA, you can comment on this video. And now, since this is our last Talk About It Tuesday, we want to talk a little bit more about how you can get involved, what you can do now. So you've learned so much information from us about how to prosecute a case, the laws regarding cases, how trauma affects a child. And so, Melissa, what are your thoughts about how people in the community can possibly aid in the effort of preventing child abuse?
Well, I think one of the biggest and most important ways that you can prevent child abuse in your community is to attend the Darkness to Light program, Stewards of Children, and I know Family Connections offers that program. And be aware of what the warning signs are, just as a parent, or maybe you're not a parent, just someone in the community, as you are around children, possibly through your job. Just be aware of what the warning signs of abuse are, and be aware that you can report that 24 hours a day. The number is 1-855-GA-CHILD, and you can call and make an anonymous report if you suspect child abuse or neglect with a neighbor or a child that you come in contact with. So be vigilant about that, and help us to to be a community that doesn't tolerate child abuse. And also, if you're so inclined, you can volunteer. I know that you can volunteer with the CAC, but you can also volunteer as a CASA, and we'll provide all your training and everything you need to get started, as well as supervision throughout the case. And we also have a huge need for foster parents. Strayan and I were talking about that before the video started, and we have a great shortage and a need for foster homes right now. We have children placed often in Gwinnett County or farther away due to not having enough safe, stable places for them to be placed here locally in their community.
Yeah, and some things going on within the law that you guys might be interested in is that they used to be able to place kids in safety resources, which is a 45-day placement, but they're not doing that anymore because they found out, I guess it wasn't
Too much risk.
Too much risk. And so now all those kids that were going to safety resources are now being placed into foster care, and that is a huge number. And both myself and Melissa are foster parents, and so we're not just telling you this information without doing it ourselves. We have aided in the effort.
Right.
She's adopted kids out of foster care. I currently have kids from foster care, and so we really want to encourage you to do that as well, because the need is so great, and you can make a huge difference in the life of a child. Okay, is there anything else that you feel like you want to share with the community about CASA or about ways to get involved?
Well, we're always looking for new recruits, and you can visit our website, which is enotahcasa.org, and sign up to get involved in the training. We also use volunteers to help with fundraisers and different activities that we have going on, and I know they can use you here as well. You'll notice the pinwheels during the month of April for prevention of child abuse, the blue pinwheels. Pinwheels are a sign, a symbol that we use to show sort of the whimsical nature of children and to remind us of the number of victims we have in our community. So something as simple as getting involved in placing pinwheels is a way that you can volunteer with prevention and help children in foster care and abused and neglected children.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Have a good Tuesday.